Hey guys, ChrisFix here. Today we're going to see if Techron fuel system cleaner actually cleans out the engine. We'll be doing this test on my 2001 Mazda B3000 V6. And to see if the Techron actually works, I'm going to be using my borescope camera. Fits into the spark plug hole, looks into the engine. We'll see the carbon buildup on the cylinder. I'm going to check it right now before I add it, and then I'm going to add it following the instructions. And after running the whole thing of Techron through the engine, we're going to go look again and see if it actually removed any carbon deposits. I just want to make myself clear, I'm not being sponsored by Techron. This is going to be a completely independent test. I went out and bought this myself. I'll put a link in the description to where you could get this. And if you didn't see my other fuel system cleaner videos, I'll put the links to those videos in the description below. I test out gumout, I test out seafoam, and I'll be testing out many more fuel system cleaners to see if they actually work. So I'm going to show you the claims on the bottle so we can check them out. I'm using the Techron Concentrate Plus, and it says it'll help clean your fuel system in one tank full. So I'm not going to be testing the fuel injectors, but it does say it'll clean the fuel injectors, give you a better spray pattern, but I will be testing the carbon buildup, specifically in the combustion chamber on the piston head, as you can see on this bottom one. The before shows carbon buildup all over the piston, the after shows about a third of the piston being cleaned, and that's after one bottle. So now we know what the claims are, let's go test it out. For reference, we'll start with the passenger side and move to the driver's side. The cylinders are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to start with cylinder 1, which is right down here. Just remove the spark plug and spark plug wire and send that camera down. Okay, cylinder 1, let's check it out. Just like in the previous video, decent amount of carbon buildup, nothing crazy. This is what a typical cylinder looks like. Let's go check out cylinder number 2. Okay, cylinder number 2, the cylinder is at the bottom of its stroke. If we move in over here, you can see to the right and along the edge of the piston head, the carbon's built up, and that'll be interesting to see if we can get that out. Okay, we're done with cylinder 2. Let's check out cylinder 3. Again, another typical cylinder, and that gives you an idea of what cylinder 3 looks like. So those were cylinders 1 through 3 on the passenger side. Now it's time to go to driver's side, cylinders 4 through 6. Okay, cylinder 4. If we look at the piston head edge, you can see there's some decent carbon buildup. The rest of the cylinder looks typical, just like cylinders 1 through 3. Now let's leave cylinder 4, check out cylinder 5. Okay, cylinder 5 looks like a good cylinder to test. There is a lot of carbon buildup at the edge of this piston head right here. It'll be interesting to see if the Techron does anything to clean this off. So that's cylinder 5, let's go check out cylinder 6. Cylinder 6 is down, so let's drop that borescope camera down there, get up close. So we got some carbon buildup here too. Again, it's along the edge, so it'll be interesting to see if that carbon buildup gets cleaned up. Okay, so now you've seen the before for all the cylinders. We know what the carbon buildup looks like. Let's go add a Techron fuel cleaner and run it through the engine so we can see what it looks like after. The instructions say pour the whole bottle of Techron into the fuel tank when it's empty and then add 15 gallons. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You can see my gas tank is almost on empty, so now I'm going to add the Techron and fill up the gas tank. We'll add the whole bottle of Techron, and we added about 10 gallons of gas, which should give me a little bit under 15 gallons total, which is recommended on the Techron bottle. Okay, so we ran all the Techron and gas through the engine, so let's go take a look inside the engine and see what we get. Okay, cylinder 1. Let's go get a before and after. This is before, this is after, and then we have a comparison. And you can see there really isn't much of a difference, nothing significant. It looks basically the same. So let's go check out cylinder 2. Let's get a before and after up. That's before, that's after. And again, we don't really have much of a difference. It looks pretty much the same. So let's go check out cylinder 3. Okay, if I remember correctly, cylinder 3 actually looks a little bit different. Let's go check out the before and after. Here's a before, here's an after. Okay, you can see the before and after here, and I would say the Techron actually did a decent job cleaning up the carbon. If you look on the right hand side, you can see right there, there's a large area that got cleaned off pretty good. But besides that large area, the rest of the carbon looks about the same. So that was a decent result. Let's see if the results continue. So those were cylinders 1 through 3. Now it's time to go to driver's side, cylinders 4 through 6. Cylinder 4. Let's get a before and after up. That's before, that's after. And you can see that basically looks the same. The Techron didn't really do anything in this cylinder. Let's go check out cylinder 5. This was the one I've been waiting for. Let's get a before and after up. Here's a before, here's an after. Now when looking at the before and after together, you can see on the left hand side where the piston head meets the cylinder wall, right where that clean spot already was, you can see the Techron cleaned it out just a little bit more. And then if you look at that carbon chunk kind of in the middle / right hand side, it started to eat away a little bit more of that carbon chunk. So it was taking some of that carbon away, but not really anything significant, but definitely more than some of the other cylinders. Okay, let's go check out our last cylinder, cylinder number 6. Get down in here. Here's a before, here's an after. And then when we compare the two, you can see right at the top where the piston head meets the cylinder, it cleaned that up a little bit more. And I'd say a little bit of that carbon right below that clean patch did get taken away, but nothing significant. And there we go. That's what the engine looks like after we use Techron. So the big question now, does Techron actually work? Well, you saw the results for yourself. Just like in the gumout video, I'm actually kind of disappointed with the Techron. I think the Techron worked better than the gumout, but I still don't see the results that they claim after one use. You should be able to get 1/3 of the piston clean, and we didn't see that. Now that being said, in one of the cylinders, the Techron actually cleaned the carbon up pretty good. I'd say about 1/3. But in all the rest of the cylinders, especially cylinders 5 and 6 where there was a lot of carbon buildup, it really didn't do much. Sure, it nipped away at the edge of some of the carbon, but the results were not significant enough to warrant use of the product. Now maybe if you use one of these every tank full for a year, you might get better results, but the whole idea is it says right here, it works in 1 tank full, so I'm testing the claims on the bottle. Plus if you use this every time you filled up, that'd be a lot of money. And unless you have really serious carbon buildup issues, it won't be worth it. So in the end, my takeaway is this did not work. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, okay, well that was 1 bottle, what happens if we do another bottle? That's what I'm gonna do next. On the back here it says a second use might give additional benefits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something a little bit different. Instead of having the tank full, I have 1/4 of a tank left, and I'm going to put in the whole thing, which it treats up to 15 gallons. So we should have a really concentrated fuel solution. Okay, so we'll see if that extra container does anything, especially when it's concentrated. Now I'm going to go and give the car gas and brake to try to mix up the Techron and the gas, just so I get a good mix since I'm not adding any gasoline to mix it up. So this will just slosh the gasoline back and forth and make sure the Techron is mixed in there. I can't wait to see if the second bottle will do more to clean the engine out. Okay, so we ran the second bottle of Techron through the engine. You can see my check gauges light is on because I'm almost out of gas. So let's go look inside the engine and see if we got any better results. Okay, we're in cylinder 1, let's get a before and after. The before is after we used 1 bottle of Techron. The after is after we used 2 bottles of Techron. Towards the right side of the cylinder, we did get a little bit more cleaning, and also at the top left side of the cylinder, we got a little bit more cleaning. So an extra bottle did work a little bit more, but nothing significant. Let's check out cylinder 2. Get a before and after up. You can see it cleaned up that big carbon spot at the left, and it started cleaning up the cylinder a little bit better near the middle of the cylinder. There's still a lot of carbon here, but it did clean it up just a little bit more. So let's go check out cylinder 3. So here's the before and after. You can see that spot near the top left of the cylinder did get cleaned up just a little bit more, but everything else looks about the same. Let's look into cylinder 4. Get a before and after up. The top left part of the cylinder did get cleaned up just a little bit more, but nothing significant, just like the other cylinders. So let's move on. Let's look into cylinder 5, get a before and after up. When we look into cylinder 5, you can see the spot that's relatively clean in the top left side of the cylinder did get cleaned a little bit more, but the rest of the cylinder looks about the same. So let's move on to the last cylinder, cylinder number 6. We'll get a before and after up. You can see the 2 cylinders look very similar. There's not much of a difference, so the Techron didn't really do much here. Okay, so after using 2 bottles of Techron Concentrate Plus, I'd say that I was disappointed in the results. Now this stuff might work for fuel injectors, it might work for the valves, but to clean the carbon, like they said, in the combustion chamber on the cylinder head, it did not work. You saw the results yourself, come up with your own conclusions. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was helpful, remember to give the video a thumbs up. It was an independent test, so it really gives you some insight on what the engine looks like after you use Techron. So now you know when you're buying this stuff, what you're getting out of it. Also, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing a few more of these tests. I'll have the video link to the gumout test in the description, and I'll be testing decarbonization with water. I'll be testing seafoam, Lucas oil treatment, and many more fuel system cleaners. See if any of them actually do as they say.